Am I the idiot for refusing to invite my dad's manipulative girlfriend to my wedding? To add, many people are commenting the same thing, so I just want to clear something up. Poppy seemed to be a nice lady. I just looked it up because I was confused. It seems like I haven't written it down properly. Sorry for the confusion. My parents have been separated since I was about 7 years old, and they handled it awfully. What followed were years of them talking badly behind each other's back to us, fights, even in the street, which was super embarrassing, and mental abuse by my mother, who especially handled things badly after my dad cheated on her. They both generally didn't fit well together. This just ended things, definitely. My mom is like a firecracker. She can explode from one moment to another and doesn't care who she hurts doing so. She always used to be like this. It sounds crazy, but besides that, she was just a single mom with 3 kids who worked her hardest for us. I never doubted that she loved us, but if something negative happened, school-related especially, she would scream and cry for hours, going from, "I'm such a bad mother," to saying hurtful things about what she was doing for us. My dad couldn't provide at that time. It was rough. Years later, I'm now 29, we have a good relationship. She apologized, now married for years. My father apologized, and after I found the best person on earth who was even willing to work with me on some of those issues, I eventually got as a child of divorce, we got engaged, and I will formally marry soon. The wedding party will be in 2026. My parents' relationship is good now. They can peacefully coexist in one room, and it's nice. Now my father has a girlfriend, I'll call her Poppy, and she's a kind, nice lady from his hometown. They rekindled and have been dating for over 10 years. I really liked her. She was the perfect mix of kind, funny, and educated, and I felt like my father opened up more again. Now, like 7 years ago, I was 22. My mom and she were close friends until they had a falling out. Apparently, Poppy told my mom all the things we said about her when I was around 17 years old. We talked badly about our mom because of her character and her inability to hold discussions without screaming at us at full volume and making us hate her existence. And my mother, of course, felt betrayed by us. Apparently, Poppy went on about how we think she's a psycho, that nobody wants to be near her, and other things. Apparently, the fight started because Poppy told my mother that she cheated on my dad, and my mother said she needed to tell him the truth. After she refused, my mother wrote to my dad and told him. In my opinion, my mother has many flaws, but I felt like she was always honest. So I guess I believed her when she told me the story. Apparently, Poppy has been doing shady stuff in general, trying to trick my brother into giving her money. She made me feel bad at 17, so I gave her my dad's iPad password, which, well, didn't go well. She made my father leave our family chat group that contained my mother in it. As you can imagine, it was easy to believe my mom after all that. I don't have any contact with her. Only when I'm at my dad's and they FaceTime am I civil. They have a long-distance relationship. She always seems fake nice to me. Now, my mother told me that she will not come to my wedding party unless Poppy stays at home. My brothers and I talked to her about it, but she's dead set on it, which of course I can understand. Now, I don't know the full story, and it might sound heartless, but my mother is prone to overreacting badly sometimes. She takes criticism poorly, and it always ends with her yelling and us just not caring anymore. Not saying Poppy is right at all, but I'm caught between two sides, and honestly, I'm super upset. After all those years of mental torture from my distant father, who still can't properly show affection most of the time, and my emotionally draining mother, I'm so upset that after all they put me and my brothers through, they can't just do this one thing for me and be civil for one day. I'm no bridezilla, but I think everyone understands when I want this to be about my fiancé and me. A day with our loved ones. They don't contribute financially, by the way. I will talk to my dad, but I don't even know how to tell him what my mom said. I'm tired of this and don't know what to do. Any advice on what I should do? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Honestly, elope. Plan a vacation and get married somewhere beautiful. Anyone who truly cares about you will want you to have a stress-free wedding, whether they are there to witness the moment or not. Then have a party when you get back. Invite anyone you want. And if someone else doesn't want to come, they can RSVP no. Comment 2. Why invite Poppy? Just curious. She has only stirred up drama with you all and tried to hurt the relationship with your mom, dad, and between you all. Poppy seems like a major problem. It's really inappropriate she asked for money from your brothers. Just invite your parents without a +1. Now for the update. 2 weeks after my last post, I called my dad to talk about the wedding situation. He was busy but promised to call me back later that day. Spent the day just thinking about how to say everything without making things worse. Not sure how I could do that, but I figured I'd give it a shot. Later that evening, my dad called back and asked to meet up for dinner to talk about it. We chose a local Italian restaurant where my parents used to take me as a kid. Just walking in there brought back a lot of memories, you know? During dinner, I brought up the wedding guest list and mentioned my mom's concerns about Poppy. His face just kind of dropped. Dad frowned and said Poppy was really excited about the wedding and wanted to be included. I told him I understood that, but reminded him that my mom wouldn't attend if Poppy was there. He sighed and said he was just so tired of the drama between them and wanted to enjoy the day. Like, who wouldn't? I suggested a compromise, like having a separate area for Poppy at the reception. He didn't like that idea at all. Said it would only make things more complicated. We ended up arguing because he thought I was being unfair to Poppy. My dad accused me of holding grudges against Poppy for past stuff. I mean, it's not just that, it's how she acted recently too. He just dismissed my concerns, saying Poppy was good for him and that I needed to accept that. That really hurt, to be honest. The next day, I got a text from my mom asking about dinner with Dad. I told her it didn't go well and she wanted more details. I explained the whole argument, and she brought up Poppy's past again. Like, we get it, Poppy has a shady past. My mom mentioned that Poppy had invited her to lunch the following week. I felt uneasy about my mom having lunch with Poppy. I told her that it could lead to more drama, but my mom insisted it was a chance to clear the air. I was just skeptical about this whole thing. Later that week, I overheard my mom on the phone with a friend talking about the lunch. She mentioned how she was nervous but wanted to try to resolve things. I was shocked when I heard her planning to confront Poppy about her comments. That could either go really well or really bad. The lunch happened, and my mom texted me afterwards saying it was just awkward. She said Poppy deflected all the serious topics and focused on small talk. Classic Poppy, right? A few days later, my dad invited me to a family gathering at their house. I arrived to find Poppy already there, which just made everything so much more uncomfortable. We had dinner, and Poppy tried to engage in small talk with me. I kept my responses short, like one-word answers. She looked annoyed, but honestly, I didn't care. My dad noticed the tension and tried to lighten the mood with jokes, but it just wasn't working. During dessert, Poppy brought up the wedding and asked if I was excited. My dad interjected, saying we should all just focus on the wedding. It was like we had this unspoken agreement to not talk about it at all, you know? The conversation shifted, but the atmosphere was still kinda heavy. Edit. Since posting, I've received a lot of suggestions for how to manage the wedding situation, so I wanted to share what I've done. I spoke with my partner and we decided to have an open discussion about the guest list with both parents. We figured this would clear up any misunderstandings. We also talked about having a wedding planner to help manage any issues that might arise. Additionally, some people suggested sending Poppy and my mom separate invitations. We decided against that because we didn't want to escalate tensions further. I really hope that all this will lead to a more peaceful wedding experience.